Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sunny and today's reading is going to be one that I've been looking forward to doing. It's one that I've been interested in, but I've kind of postponed it because it's like one of those that I feel like it's going to be a little more detail oriented. So even though it's simple, with a lot can be said. So we have 3 piles. Did I say the reading title already? I've totally spaced out. But if I didn't, just focus on the question, what is the pile with the best career options for you? Or more or less that's what's in your energy field. So you have pile 1 on the left side, pile 2 on the middle, and pile 3 on the right side. So go ahead, stop the video if you feel like you need more time. Otherwise, skip to the timestamp that I've provided in the description or the comment section, and I'll see you in your pile. So pile number 1. With this pile, oh cool, you have 2 of Swords reversed. So that's the picture. So pile number 1, what is the best career options for you? Sorry, I feel like my throat's barely sort of recovering a bit. I definitely feel that for this pile, I think that you've already made your choice and you're no longer in this internal, it's internal energy, but I feel like you've already made your choice because the 2 of Swords is someone that's at a crossroads between 2. It could be more than 2, it could be 3, but more than likely it's 2 options that have been weighing you down in your head of basically what is more, I guess, beneficial for your situation, or which, when it comes to career, which career choice is more beneficial for your needs. Maybe you're looking at a job that you're looking at one that is closer in location to where you live. Maybe that's one of the traits that's important for you, or one of the, like, if you had a list, it's like, how close is it to my house? Because transportation and just walking distance for whatever your mode of transportation, it can either be tiresome because of the amount of time it gets from your place to that work job, or it can be tiresome with the amount of money you spend on gas, or the amount of time you're stuck in traffic, or if you get up through a bike or walking distance, it's still some amount of traffic between pedestrians and you, or you never know, there could be objects on the road or things that just kind of stall not your voyage, but your, more or less, your trip to the office job. For some reason I feel like a lot of people are like into office jobs here, and I think that another job career you could have on your other side, which is an option, is just it has better pay, it has better amenities for your health, like health plan, or sometimes they just have better work schedules because maybe you can only work certain hours of the day, so you're really no longer in the space of weighing out these 2 options. You've already gone inside, you've made your choice, or you're about to make your choice because you've already figured out which one's the option that's more viable for you in your situation. I feel that you no longer have to be in this space of being blinded and just kind of choosing with a blindfold of which sword should I take. Sorry, I might sip on water more frequently because I do feel that I run out of air pretty fast. So yeah, I definitely feel for this pile, it's that you definitely know what you want already, and you're not, like, it was probably murky. It just feels like you were in a foggy state of mind, very murky environment in your mental space. You weren't lost, but you just couldn't figure out what was more relevant to you. I think that for this pile, I think for this pile you're just looking at the confirmation of knowing whether you did the right choice. I don't particularly feel that you came to seek certain the advice of, like, where should I pick, because I definitely feel that you already looked at your options, you weighed them down for a while. You can see that the girl's kind of being weighted down equally by the choices, aka the swords in her hands, and she's kind of being blindfolded, she's kind of letting her own body intuitively guide her by allowing that whichever hand is going to fall first, and the other one's standing, the standing one's the one that she's taking. Although I'm sure it's not as blindly as just choosing, like, I don't think you literally do this. It's a metaphorical version of what you're doing. But I definitely think that for you, you've made your choice and you've used your intuition, and I think your intuition's on point. I think you're just looking at a confirmation that you're doing the right thing, and I definitely think that you did the right thing for this one. I did have a confirmation card for each pile. So for this pile, I feel that your confirmation is the Page of Pentacles. It's reversed. So your confirmation with the Page of Pentacles is that I think you've mastered whatever skill set you might have been like on the ins and outs. I guess you weren't very sure at some point. Maybe you were still green, because the page here is wearing green, and for me that symbolizes someone that's still kind of new at what they're doing. Maybe you were new at your jobs, or you recently got hired at the one that you want, and you're no longer green. You kind of got the gist of it, I feel, for this pile, sorry. I definitely think that the Page of Pentacles symbolizes someone that has created some stability and some I guess, yeah, it's a financial reward, but it's a reward that came from within, something that you created that made you feel self-sufficient, and you really are the embodiment of this card. You really do know what you're doing now. I think you got the ins and the ropes, ins and outs of the ropes. How do you say that phrase? The ins and outs of the ropes. Ins and outs of the ropes, and I think for your career. And I definitely think you're someone that manifested a lot of wealth because you've already chosen your career option. You've created a lot of abundance and opportunities for yourself, I feel. And I also think that you've learned a lot from these choices that you've been. Maybe you could have had 2 jobs at the same time also. That's another possibility. And you were kind of trying to balance them out or weigh them down to see which one stuck around the most. But you did eventually make your choice. And I think for you, I really think that you are happy with what you've chosen, pile number 1. You're private about it, in the sense where I don't feel it's necessary for everybody to know, but I think you know what you're doing. I think you just wanted a confirmation for this pile. So some of these options that you could have as career fields that I went ahead and I wrote some little notes. So I'm gonna choose I'm gonna choose 3 little pieces, and these pieces have a few career jobs. So which one's standing out? Okay. So pile 1, you could work in administration, accounting, and agriculture. These are some. I didn't put them with ABC kind of things. I just wrote whatever I first remembered. Administration, accounting, and agriculture jobs are possibly some of the jobs that you could have. The next one's retail, store, and marketing jobs. And then you can also be working in a library or medical field. So you could be a secretary, you could be a financial consultant, and agriculture could be a farmer or someone that knows how to. You're probably maybe the person who sells the produce, or you sell seeds. You can also look at the statistics of the sales of whatever agricultural department you look at, or the quality of the products as well, the quality of the soil, quality of things as such. And retail store, you could work in a clothing store. You could be the person who does customer service, but I definitely feel with retail workers it's just a little more plain and simple. Someone who just ends up selling clothing for that matter. Maybe also you could work in the electronics department. And marketing, you could really look in the analytics of things, the sales of certain products that your company is hired to look into, to see how you can approach the marketing and sales of their products, and basically pitch in what you think is the best methods of selling this product, whether you're doing like commercial work or like online media. I think that's more popular now. Online media sales, like Instagram, how they sell products like that. That could be one, or maybe like other services, like online services like that. Library worker, you could work as a shelfer, or someone that gives the information at the information desk. You can also help people do their research, or things that are like clerical per se. And medical field, you could be someone that also does the administration in the medical field. You could be someone that works as a nurse practitioner, a doctor. There's other professions, of course, like you could be the student, I forgot what they're called, but they're students who shadow, or like they're not students, but they're sort of like they're the people who basically work with the doctors and nurses, and they do their rounds, and I know they have their names, but I forgot. But they basically are going to be working as future doctors and nurses as well, and rehabilitation people as well, people who work in the cafeteria department, the maintenance departments. There's also people who work in the finance departments in the medical field. There's many different sections. Or maybe you could be the person who transports from the ambulance to the EMT people. But yeah, these are some ideas of professions that you could have, and I really hope you enjoyed that pile one. Please like and subscribe if you feel like it resonated. Comment and share too. It really helps me out. And if you were called upon to pick a different pile, go ahead and pick that pile. There's probably a message there for you, and I'll see you there. So, pile number 2, we have the Justice card reversed. Oops, I forgot to go ahead and show you a close-up. So, when it comes to career options that you could have, pile number... No, why did I want to say number 1? I think that you might have been attracted to pile 1. But I definitely feel that for this pile, sorry. I'm trying not to sneeze. Okay, sorry. Yeah, allergies. So for pile 1, oh, no, pile 2. Sorry. Some career options that you could have been having. Perhaps. It's not necessary that you could work in law, but there's some hints, because the Justice card is obviously a very Libra card. So this could be some, right? Or it could be someone that works in like beauty industries, beauty fields as well. But I definitely feel that you work in fields, or maybe an actress too, an actress. The reason why I say that is because the Justice card upright is someone who seeks justice and truth, right? And reverse, I feel it's someone that puts on a facade. So I feel that if you put on a facade to be fair and justice, are you working in the beauty industry field, where it's not that you put up a facade, but you see people that are beautiful people, men and women, work in these fields, and they get photoshopped, and they end up doing promotions, and there's filters, or the product doesn't quite look as bright. Like, let's say you get a lipstick, the product doesn't look quite as vibrant as on TV or your laptop or phone, or smartphone, the tablet per se, because the quality of like the colors, I forgot what they're called, the monitor colors are not the same as the colors that you use in real life, right? There's more variance, if I'm not mistaken. And also the printing quality can be very much different. I know for a fact that printing colors are much different and much more narrow, so there's not maybe as many vibrancies. So you could be also like in that marketing stuff, right? So I definitely feel that's more less an idea for you. Actors and actresses also sort of lie because they portray someone they're not, right? They pretend to be someone they're not to make a story, to tell the story, to show people. Or you can work in theater also and makeup, theatrical stuff like special effects, CGI. You can also work in like technology, like that technology side. Yeah, these are just some options, because that's what I get from this card. It's someone who knows how to enchant a crowd in that aspect. So that's when I say, when you put up a facade, when you put up this front of being just and fair, it's just not saying that you necessarily lie, but you know how we might not quite tell the truth, or we stretch out the truth of maybe the quality of the product, maybe the quality of service we provide, stuff like that. But I definitely feel you work in these types of industries. Same with lawyers. When you think about lawyers or people who work in the courtrooms, being honest with yourself is so does the person, okay, so whether you get an innocent or guilty customer, I forgot what they're called, but customer, the individuals for the lawyers, and then they have their like their side people, I forgot their proper names, but they work in like litigation, and like they work in these departments where they basically, like, one does research, one comes up with the arguments, and then other one fact checks and like gathers information from like witnesses and stuff. Like there's different things that every person in the team to represent their customer works in, right? And so whether you do a good job or not is basically representative of who is going to win, not necessarily who has, whether you're guilty or not. I don't think I'm explaining myself correctly, but I think you're getting the point of like the person who comes up with the best convincing argument, whether they have good evidence or not at some points, is a person who ends up winning the case. It's not always the person who's innocent who wins the case. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. The system works as whoever presents themselves with the best convincing arguments and testimonies and research arguments is the person who wins. And then there are also the people, if I'm not mistaken, who end up paying the most. It's expensive regardless to go to court, if I'm not mistaken, whatever part of the world you're in. It's still an expensive thing to do. It's just a lot of work. I don't think people necessarily want to be working in these fields because it's like fun. I think it's because there's a lot of reading. There's a lot of reading involved, and I think it's very similar, I feel, to like medical field workers who end up doing a lot of research because they could be knowledgeable, but that doesn't mean you always know the facts or the information at hand. It's like, hey, you gotta go back and do your research. Even teachers and educators who have their PhDs and all this stuff, they have to go back and revisit their information to present to the classroom or to present to the board if they're doing like papers, like trying to publish themselves and stuff like that. It's just always going back, and I think that's a good person knows when to be not know stuff and say, I don't know this, but I do know it, so I need to go back and I'll get back to you on that. Let me research this further, because I know I can get you much better details if you just give me the time to go back and get the information. That's a good worker, I feel. A good worker will always know when to say, I don't know, but I can go back and research. And I can get you much more efficient answer and a proficient answer. So that's what I feel with this card. I feel that you're someone that knows how to approach a situation. Sorry, I needed to take a sip. So yeah, I feel that I think you also like to work behind the scenes, because this is reversed. This isn't someone who's necessarily doing their work line in the front field. You're not the face, right? So I definitely feel you do the background work. I also think you're someone that's just private, just very internal, not just in that. And I guess I can go ahead and start with my supporting card, because I think I might have gone over the time I wanted to for this one. This is the Knight of Wands, reversed. So you're someone that knows when to charge when you have everything. Like, you're knowledgeable, but I think you collect the data first before you go ahead and take charge. But you're someone that's going to do it softly. You're not someone that's in your face. I definitely feel for this pile, you're someone that's going to really just get to know your audience, get to know your customer, and that's when you can approach them and sell it and pitch whatever work and services you're providing. But yeah, I think that you're someone that knows how to wield the wand and knows how to just give me cardinal energy for this one. You're someone that knows how to really travel and go the distance when you need to. You don't have issues with that. But again, I do feel that you dress quite flamboyantly or quite attractively. I don't think attractively is like the word. I think quite attractive. You're definitely someone that's quite attractive or subtle, but you still look nice on the eye. You're easy on the eye. Someone that's very passionate about their work, I feel. But you just show glimpses of it. You don't get in people's faces. You kind of work in the background. That's what I feel for this one. But yeah, I definitely know that you take your time. You really do take your time. But you will charge ahead when you know when it's needed. So some possibilities of work that you could possibly, in the fields that you could be working in here. Okay, I'm gonna get 3 because I gave pile 1 3. So you could be working in the You could work as a culinary worker or a pastry worker. Interesting. You could also make food. If this applies for you, this isn't yes, you work in this, but these are some career options that you could have been working on or working in for the whoever it resonates. Again, this is a general reading, but you could work in a culinary or pastry field. Someone that knows how to make beautiful food and present it. Maybe you could be the person, for some reason I thought of the person who works in in commercials, in the sense where, you know how the example, let's say this one's the first thing, not that I think about it, but I think of like Burger King, people who make the food beautiful, and it's not really food, it's like Play-Doh or like fake food, just not real food, but they make it look like real food. Like mashed potatoes. I think mashed potatoes, I have seen people work in these fields, but I don't remember what they're called. But they make food look beautiful and presentable and appetizing so people could buy it. That doesn't necessarily look like that when you get it, obviously. Burger King was just an example. But there's so many like chicken places or ice cream places. I think of like maybe like Baskin Robbins or DQ, when they have like that slushy or Blizzard. I think it's Blizzard. I forget what they're called. But they show you like really beautiful, aesthetically pleasing pictures of what the food looks like, but it doesn't really look always like that when you get it. But that's what they do. They sort of lie to make it look beautiful, but it's not necessarily that item. But it is technically the item, is just not as aesthetically pleasing and presentable. You could work as a banker, a teacher, or an astrologer. If you're a banker, I feel like you put up that face of like, I'm fancy. And a teacher a teacher can be a grade school teacher, a middle school teacher, a high school teacher, an astrologer. Yeah, I mean, maybe these are professions that you like or want to be, but these are some options. In these cases, I think that, I mean, you could put a facade where you know more. In this one kind of gives me the facade where you're attempting to approach your audience that you think you know more, or you look like you know a lot, but you're kind of learning as you go as well. Because these are not easy professions. I think the second one's more like, this one's like not a one-on-one basis, but you kind of learn as you go. And that's why you put up a facade where you might, I feel like this one lies on their resume. That like, they know much more, but then they actually do. That's okay. With nurse, physical therapy, with this one, I think that you present yourself as someone that knows how to, I think you present yourself as someone who's an aid to people. If this resonates, again, someone who is really like a helping hand, but you don't feel necessarily like that all the time. You don't feel that you're quite as helpful, but it's glamorized. These jobs could be glamorized also. That's a good way to describe this pile. There's a glamorization of the job, but the job itself is not quite what it seems. Maybe the job is like overworked a lot, and people just like look at you like, wow, you look so put together, you look so good. Like, that's the kind of jobs that I feel that this pile can be also. So yeah, I really hope that helped pile number 2. I spent a little more time than I wanted to on your pile, but I feel like you might have been entertained also by this. So I really hope you liked it. Please comment, like, subscribe, comment, and share. I think I said comments once. Have a good day, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed this. Have a good day because you made it a good day, and not because I told you to. I really, really just enjoy helping out people to kind of pep them up. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm on to pile number 3. So pile number 3. Ooh, this is Queen of Wands reversed. So pile number 3. What career options are best for you? Well, I think much like the rest, there's a strong, I just realized if you did stick around to watch all piles and then you choose, I think that all piles have a strong feminine energy here. And I'm wondering if all my piles, this doesn't mean I'm just focusing on women, but I'm really wondering if a lot of my piles have a lot of feminine oriented jobs, or just not feminine oriented. They work with a lot of feminine energy at their jobs, because there is a lot of, I mean, I don't like to spoil too much, because I do want you to individually pick one or pick a few, but I mean pick the ones that you're attracted to. But I definitely think that there's a strong energy of feminine here. That divine feminine is wow. So sorry, I had to take sips of water. Queen of Wands reversed. I feel that you're someone you're strong-minded and strong-willed. I think you're someone that's very knowledgeable. I don't want to say nerdy. I feel that people misuse that word like as an insult, like you're so nerdy. But I definitely feel that for this one, you're very knowledgeable. You have a strong mind, I feel, for this pile. And I think for this pile, the careers that you sort of might be attracted to are those that make you think. They make you go inside and think of it, your internal energy, rather than the focus of inside, like outside sources, like physical labor. Not saying that you can't have physical labor jobs. I'm just saying that if your job, career that you're currently at, or like aspiring to have or obtain at some point, the amount of work that's physical isn't as great as the amount of work that makes you think. I think you have to take executive decisions. Maybe I'm thinking of like random, but this isn't a yes for everyone. But I feel that for some of you, I think that if you work in the medical nurse field, I definitely feel that you're top nurse. I don't know what they're called. I know there's like a I don't want to say there's your main nurse and then there's your side nurses. I don't want to say that because I know they have proper terms. But the one who's in charge, a head nurse, I think I said that right. I think there's a head nurse, and I think that you would be the head nurse, the one who takes the most executive decision out of all. And if you work with them, I definitely think that you're in charge of your team. You're someone that knows how to talk to your team, and you get back to them often. You're definitely that kind of person. That's the kind of person I get with this. And if this isn't your field, you're definitely someone that's confident in your knowledge. I know it might not show to others because you might not, I don't feel that you have the face of someone that looks like you're mature with wisdom. You are mature with wisdom internally, but you might still have not exactly like a youthful face, but you look, how can I say, it's not young, but it's not old, but you look like maybe like you're someone that's new, or someone that they just transferred to and you're betting. Like, people, I guess, have the wrong assumptions of you because they think you're someone that just started, or someone that's just a pretty face, someone that they just overlook because your appearance. But you're quite smart, I feel. You're someone that's very confident in your decisions. You're someone that's very determined to show people that you are the person in charge. I mean, I think it's so cute. You could also be working with like veterinary services, because I feel there's a cat here. It's like such a cute little cat. And I feel that you know what you're doing. Or maybe you like have a rescue center, or you help out at a rescue place, or volunteer. Maybe you work with maybe you're the kind of person that works to advocate for those who don't have a voice. This applies to animals and babies and anyone who might not, who are immigrants as well. You're just someone that just knows how to be confident. You're just in your space, but you're subtle. You're not. I think none of these piles were super in your face. These piles are very poised and subtle. Like subtle, like not aggressive energies. They're just very strong, but I feel like you walk behind. I think these piles just These piles walk behind the scenes. These piles definitely, including you, they walk with grace. And I feel that's what you are. You're so graceful. And you don't necessarily have to be the person who's always talking. There's a certain amount of respect with the Queen of Wands. There's a respect with your job. You're very respected. I feel like, I don't know why I thought of like, you remind me so much of like I think it's the willow tree from the Pocahontas, where she's talking to, I think, Grandma, I forgot her name, but it's been many years since I last saw Pocahontas. But I do remember she was very, very knowledgeable. And Pocahontas always went to her when she needed advice. You're someone that you can be approached to and talk to if you feel that if the people around you feel like they need to have advice from you at your career field. You're someone that knows the ins and outs of ropes. I think that you're someone that, even though you can be you're not timid or quiet, but you're someone that's very reserved. You know how to be confident when you speak. You don't have issues with that. I don't feel that you need to always be the loudest one to make a statement. Even though this person is wearing gold. There's so much gold here. There's someone that's just, it demands queen. Queens and kings have a lot of gold and yellows in them. And I feel you are the top person to be talked to. Maybe you're a counselor or a therapist, psychologist, whatever fields like these that you work with. It's super smart. But yeah, I definitely feel that you're someone that is like top notch for this one. Very independent. you're secure in your own decision and your own self, and you don't mind being alone. If you are alone, like in your career field, if you have to be extended amounts of periods alone, maybe you could be a freelancer also. But if you are in like your respective career, you're someone that doesn't mind being alone because you can still work like that. Not an issue for you. So a card, I got every card, every deck, every pile, sorry. Every pile has a confirmation card, and for this one, it's the 10 of Wands reversed. And I think you can still see it from that point, but so the 10 of Wands reversed is someone that I don't feel you really have to push around many responsibilities, because I feel that I definitely feel you're someone that works with people, but you don't necessarily have to talk to them all the time. You're like, I feel like you're in charge of people, maybe managerial positions or jobs. But for this pile, I definitely feel that you know how to lighten up the load of responsibilities so you don't get fatigued and not stressed. I feel that you don't have to work as hard anymore because you have people helping you, and you're not pushing through the day-to-day routine. You know how to just take one at a time. This is the Queen of Wands, and this is the 10 of Wands. So that says a lot about you. You're someone that knows when and knows how little and how more, I don't think it's a word, how little or how much to push through for your tasks so you don't overburden yourself. You're diplomatic, you're diligent, and you like the routine, but you like to have authority. You're in your authority. And I think you're very respected. I think you're super respected in your job. So some of your options that you could have for this pile. Every pile got 3, so I'm gonna choose. Okay, this one 4 wanted to come. Okay, fine. I'll do 4. You could be a psychologist or a counselor. Funny enough, I kept thinking of that. I just feel like you know how to. Maybe you just know how to listen to people when they need to talk about their issues, and then you give out your peace of mind. That's very, very, it's quality content that you give out when it's needed. It could be maybe a little curated when it comes to your way of speaking, but I definitely think you're someone that's very knowledgeable and you know what you're doing. And I think psychology work and being a counselor is just up that alley. It's whoever your audience is, you know how to approach them. You could be a barber and a bartender. Again, you know how to talk to people. I know these are completely opposite, but being a barber and a bartender, you know how to talk to people and let them be the voice of the narration. You let them be the person who takes the lead in the story, and you just listen. You lend an ear, but you definitely know how to service them and give them service. For these four positions, know how to service people. You can be an Uber driver or a food delivery service person, like the people who leave you like Uber Eats, or like, what are they called? DoorDash, stuff like that. I also think, even though these are more quicker, an Uber driver does have to make conversation at some point with the driver. You could be even a taxi driver, and I think that these people are like the people, if you work in like the Asian countries, the rickshaw. I think I meant to say is it rickshaw? Rickshaw. The people who travel. It's like taxi service. I think I'm saying it wrong. Rickshaw. Is it Rick or Rick? Rig. I think it's rickshaw. Correct me if I'm wrong. I am very open to that because I know what they do, but they basically get you from one point to the other. You have to make conversation sometimes. Not all the time, because these are more quicker sometimes, but you know how to approach people. You just know how to read people when it comes to making conversation or when they don't want a conversation. And then there's also another possibility that you could be a banker, teacher, and astrologer. I think you definitely have to know your audience and how they want to learn from you, and how to ease the harder language that you know into simpler terms so that they know with all these professions. So I hope this helped pile number 3. This doesn't mean you have to have these professions specifically, but these are just some of the energies that are around you. For every pile, these are some of the energies. Take what did resonate, leave what didn't, but I think overall the message is very clear. These are the career options that you have. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and comment and share. It really helps me out with my algorithm and with my channel growth, and I would really appreciate it because I put a lot of work and effort into these. I mean, for me, talking sometimes extended periods of time, and I think this is one of my longest videos, if I'm not mistaken. So it can be a little draining on my throat and my lungs. I mean, I'm so I envy the people. I just wish I could go longer, but I get super tired and fatigued, and it becomes harder for me to speak. My lung capacity is not the way it used to be. Maybe it's like my diaphragm or something, but I definitely feel it's like part of it's my allergies, I think. But I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Enough of me. This is about you. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good day because you made it a good day. And I'll see you soon if you guys decide to pick on a different video. And bye-bye, everybody.